Tammy was asking about a product. Like, this is our product. This is it. We had them here before, me and my dad, and we did it. We did it in the kitchen though, in that other area room on the ground. But the way it is in here, right over this thing, this is the most stable as it can get it. I don't have to worry about the cat. Although I did catch the cat right here looking. I was watching her, so I wanted to see what she did. She's very curious. I don't think she would get in there and get one. If it was on the floor or something like wild, she probably would. But I'm not allowing any of that to go on. I don't know why the other one died, but it really affected me because I just happened to catch it, and his body was already stiff, but his eyes were able to blink. It was very fucking weird and creepy, but significant to me because I don't. I'm not gonna treat them like they're just food or something. Sure, we want to eat their eggs, of course. We love eggs. I love chickens, but I like the birds. I like to interact with them. I don't want them terrified and running away from us. Of course, they're most likely going to be that way. It's not easy to get chickens, even if you grow them from being very young to not want to run away. Run away. I know a girl that has a chicken that she keeps as a pet and it lives in her house, but there's just no way. This is not something you want full grown running around in your house, shitting all over the place. It's just not really a good idea. But they do kind of get used to you and they know you. So you don't want to stress them out. It's easy to stress them out. So I've not been holding them and trying to grab them as much. But the one that I did, I just picked up and I took it and I showed the roommate because he hasn't seen him. I didn't bring him in here to look. Um, that was the one that died. So it affected me more because there was no reason. There wasn't a reason that I saw for it to be for him to die. But I remember that when we had him before, a lot of them died, and more of them stay alive than died, obviously. But I mean, there's a very high mortality rate, and it's not pleasant to go through, especially if you connect with them, especially if you're trying to keep them alive. And this is not like weed. Sure, we've done the weed, grown some plants, but these are living things. I mean, so is the plant. I mean, obviously, that's not. I mean, I know people know that, but some people take a completely different mental approach to dealing with animals that they're going to have as food and stuff like that. And really, I don't think I can do it. I don't think it's necessary. We had a rooster maybe twice, but at least once for Thanksgiving. My dad took him out there. He did the deed. He got him. He wanted to do it. It was his thing. Him and the rooster like had a personality and fought with each other and all that shit. And we had three of them, so that was gonna be our bird. That's the one I've got his foot dried. He hung him on the satellite and pulled his feathers out. And it was very important for him to do it, and it was very important for me to see him do it, do it, and help him. And it was a great Thanksgiving. I mean, I didn't particularly feel bad or anything like that. I think that we honored him because He was our Thanksgiving turkey. That might sound like a dickhead thing to say, but I had to tell my friends. I'm like, and I knew how it was going to go though. They're going to be like, "What was the temperature? What was the thing? What was this and that and the other?" And honestly, I don't think it was any of that. If you do that to yourself, look, this is my dad. He was a bird man too. Now he's a big glob. There's his flannel, little bit of water got on this picture and turned it completely to blob. That's Bubba. Bubba was a bird too. We like birds. That motherfucker was scary. I've got sinusitis. It's giving me a fucking headache. I slept most of this day, early on in the day, because we were gonna go do some measuring up some stuff that we're gonna go tomorrow. And when I got up at 4 and I found or 3, it was like 3:30. Got up to piss, and I seen the guy was. I was like, oh no. And but I held him while he died. So it's definitely not. You don't want them to die. Obviously, you don't, and you do feel like it's somebody you care about's life in your hand when it goes. I didn't want to be picked apart about that. Oh, what you did? You did what? What did you do? You moved this. What's the temperature? What's all this? Because I've experienced it before. I have. There was a lot of them died, and it was very painful to go through it. I didn't like it, and I remember the night before the one that died, I was calling him Cheeky Charlie. He had an intestinal problem. He was born and part of his intestines was hanging out of his butt, and he couldn't eventually couldn't eat, and he died. But we tried to get him to live. But my dad knew he was going to die. I thought he would probably die too. But whenever my dad changed how he was treating him, um, I got really mad. I'm like, he's not going to live very long. You don't have to treat him like he's nothing. Let him. I took him with me. I separated him, and I spent the whole little time. It was like a day after he stopped being able to eat or whatever, and he died with me, and I was so fucked up. It just, but it was something that was able to be useful to me to stay aware of life like that. You know what I mean? And I was remembering that, going through it again the night before, and it was especially painful because I took him to show Dawn when I was talking about this story, and then he died. You know, there's no way you're not going to feel responsible for that. You know what I mean? It hurts because it's you. It's on you. I can't feel bad for the ones that may die if my friends have them, but I can't know that it's not within my power to keep everything alive. I can keep them just fine, and there will be, but there's going to be some that die. That's the way it is in nature. That's the only way I can process it, and it keeps me right though. That I care, and I don't put over a covering or wall to be like, oh well, fuck it. No, it does hurt. It does feel personal, and I'm going to do the best to keep all the other ones alive. And I think they're fine, but I think sometimes there's stuff with birds and eggs that you're not able to notice when they're because they hatch. Hell, my dad said he had an ostrich that was born and had no beak. Its eyes were on the front of it, and it looked so crazy. He described it, and he had to kill it with a hammer. It's like, damn, dude, you put it out of its misery because it couldn't eat, it wasn't going to survive. But there's so many abnormalities that come from like eggborn life, that we don't have as many malformities and crazy shit, but we do as humans too. But just staying sensitive to that and trying to do it without, because I don't want to be. It doesn't seem like, it's like people don't understand a lot of where you're coming from. Like me, sometimes I am very deep about shit because of very strong beliefs, and it's easier for people just to dismiss, and try to tell you to do something. But if you do that and you just cut out somebody completely because you're not able to understand, um, you're cutting out the divine masculine. You know, I have it. I have the connect. I have it. I have the connection. I got it, and I see that in the society the way it is now. It's like I don't see that going through. I see it trying to be bypassed and swept aside because of the female culture. You know, you can't just immediately understand it, so dismiss it. On the surface level. And if I would rather be, I'm so in rebellion against that and upset with it that it would cause me just to rather shut people out and not deal with it because um, it's just difficult. It's difficult, and it's hard enough to try to do the best you can to survive. But if you want to keep your soul intact and your real humanity, not the fake fucking pretend for people shit, there's a lot of things that you have to do for yourself and be able to do for others that people just on the surface they're not aware of, and there's really no way for that awareness to come back except from where it's at with the people who have it, which a lot of times are like wanderers and these indigo kid types that don't feel like they should be here. We don't feel like we're here. Like we don't feel like this is where our home is. We feel this way our whole life. But anyway, whatever.